Hey, what's up, everyone? You are listening or watching the My Comic Book Journey podcast. I'm your host, KNDY. And today's topic is Archie Comics and Marvel Comics collaboration for Archie meets the Punisher. My goodness. Can you even imagine? It was definitely something different. It's a team up, exactly, that you thought would never happen. Archie and the Punisher. But yep, it happened. And it was written by Batton, Lash. Artist was John Buscema, Punisher, and Stan Goldberg, Archie, or Buscema. Not sure what it is, how you say it. Like, maybe it's Buscema or Buscema. Anyway, letterer Jack Morelli, colorist Barry Grossman, inker was Tom Palmer, and it was released back in August 1994. So it was an issue that started out as a joke. Victor Gorelick with an idea of an Archie and Punisher crossover with a violent storyline that then Archie comic publishers Richard Goldwater and Michael Sieberklight were not going to go through with it. But when Batton Lash, the creator of Wolf and Bird, came on board and wrote a story that would appeal to Archie and Punisher fans, it went to then Marvel Comics editor-in-chief Tom DeFalco. And sure enough, Marvel Comics publishers gave the thumbs up, and Archie Meets the Publisher was green-lighted. And back in early 90s, although it was seen as a joke, and then later as a real issue, it was definitely an unusual, crazy, but yet fascinating collaboration between Archie Comics and Marvel Comics. Seeing something a little dark in Riverdale seemed like a precursor to the stories we see today with the Afterlife stories and even the Riverdale television series. So let me show you this image real quick here. So it is right here. As you can see here, the story revolves around the Punisher, Frank Castle, and Whiz Kid Microchip tracking down a mob boss named Mel, aka Montana Bob, aka Freckles, aka Red Fever. And who looks like this Red Fever? Well, of course, Archie Andrews. So, yeah, as you can see here, this character is just trying to impress Veronica and her father. Let me go back to the cover here. Oh, here it is, right here. Okay. So the story revolves around the Punisher, Frank Castle, and Whiz Kid Microchip. Okay, tracking down a mob boss. We know that it's Red Fever. And in order to get access to Red Fever's sources, the Punisher is working with the federal government on this case to capture Red Fever. But after an intense gunfight, Red Fever manages to ditch Frank Castle and takes a train to Riverdale. Meanwhile, Archie accidentally squirts Veronica Lodge with a super soaker, and upset that Archie ruined her dress, she cancels her date with Archie for the 50s sock hop dance. Immediately, the mob boss con man Red Fever, Melvin J., manages to infiltrate Lodge's home and tells Mr. Lodge he's the chairman of the board for Pulaski Pharmaceuticals and that he's planning to build a business in Riverdale. But his true goal is to steal Mr. Lodge's money, but most of all, he wants to get fresh with Veronica. Veronica knows that Melvin J. looks exactly like Archie, but with an overbite. But she figures he's rich and successful and looks like Archie, why not go with him to the dance? The Punisher and Microchip end up at Riverdale, but they notice other mob members are looking for Red Fever, and because Archie looks like him, they start going after Archie. Let's show you an issue of Frank Castle meeting Archie. Right here. Anyway, needless to say, with the mob wanting to kill Red Fever and the Punisher in town, the town of Riverdale is going to experience a violent situation that the area has not seen before. So I guess you could say we get the best of both worlds. Archie and friends in Riverdale, and the Punisher and his violent ways, and trying to protect everyone but not trying to go after Red Fever but also the other members of the mob. Interesting. Artwork is split between Archie's artist and Punisher's artist, so you'll see a mix of art styles featured for each panel. Once in a while, you'll see a panel featuring the work of both Archie Comics Stan Goldberg and Marvel Comics artist John Buscema. But writers Batton Lash has managed to create a storyline that managed to integrate both worlds into one. What's interesting is the introduction panels by Victor Gorelick and Tom DeFalco, One can only imagine if Victor's original idea of Archie arriving home to find his parents massacred and enlisting Punisher would have received approval, especially now in 2024. Both Archie comics and Marvel comics have changed, especially now that they no longer follow that Comics Authority code. Marvel Comics abandoned it back in 2001, and Archie Comics abandoned it back in 2011. Personally, I think this would be a fascinating offshoot series with a darker storyline that would no doubt appeal to mature readers and would no doubt make money. Taking that idea, not incorporating the Punisher, but an alternate world storyline, which Archie goes after those who killed his parents, and then his friends being targeted. I'd have Archie in law enforcement discovering his parents being killed by a serial killer, and then when the police are not close to finding the killer, Archie decides to take things into his own hands. Almost similar to what happened to Frank Castle, but have Archie in a balls to the wall action role. That would be interesting. Sure, it's a popcorn action storyline, banality, and depending on how it was written, I think it's an interesting premise worth experimenting with. But I know I'm going off on a tangent. If Archie Comics can have Archie being killed off and the whole town of Riverdale being chased down by zombies, Vigilante Archie doesn't seem so far off. But overall, Archie Meets the Punisher was interesting for me as a fan of both Archie Comics and Publisher storylines, but also for seeing an unusual collaboration that was so different to see coming from the comic industry back then at this time of the early 90s. So that was Archie Meets the Punisher. I'm not sure if you can still find it easily, but it's definitely an interesting issue. Definitely something worth checking out. Okay, everyone, you take care, and I'll see you later. Wink, wink, and take care, everyone. Bye-bye.